Hello, and thank you for joining us here at CloudSpark Consulting. My name is Tom Meredith, and I'm the Director of CloudSpark. This 1 hour webinar very much is our focus of staying connected within Microsoft Teams, and it's really about empowering our remote work to help your team stay productive. Really, these measures around COVID-19, remote working, and people working independently outside of offices does tend to throw some challenges. And I think really importantly for this particular session, it's about how we can support, innovate and strategize forward with you to be able to empower your workforce in working with Microsoft Teams. I think really when we consider the work with Teams, and there are some statistics going forward, but I think really importantly, that when we are looking at those statistics at the end of the session, it very much shows how there's been a growth in Microsoft Teams. So I think really importantly, it's about how we're able to support that growth going forward. These are really broken down into managing that new work, and it's that really new working situation for social distancing. We've broken it into 3 sections in line with Microsoft's guidance. With working remotely, currently, of course, more employees are working from home. And of course, a lot more of our resources are shifting online. And therefore, if we're not already in the cloud so far, resource shifting to online can seem quite daunting. And I think really importantly, it's about how we can support that move to the cloud. Of course, there's data migration services, but also we have that white glove service to be able to provide you with that seamless transition, maybe from an on-premise solution into Microsoft 365 and the availability of the stack. We also know, certainly from working from home, that there's a disruption to the routine. Of course, employees now are adjusting to a new environment. And this could be whilst they're looking after children, family commitments, but also working in a new environment. This then means that collaboration is becoming more and more digital. And I think really importantly, something that we've seen really in the growth of working from home is that there are challenges where perhaps the time of working also will be changing as well. And therefore, the whole disruption of that routine could affect, of course, the individuals, but also the organization. So it's about really understanding how flexible we can be when working within the cloud and thinking of those new ways of working. And of course, with that, of course, on new ways of working comes that adoption and change management as well. From there, it's about connecting with your team. And of course, with our teams socially distanced and perhaps working from home, it does, of course, reduce that in-person interaction. And in some cases could lead to some employees feeling isolated from the lack of contact with the team. So let's think about how we can work in that all-in-one place space. And then it really is about how we can then utilize the M365 stack to support those new ways of working. Now, of course, your work is all in one place. Maintaining productivity and staying connected with your team by communicating, sharing, and collaborating with Microsoft Teams is that way forward. And I think really importantly, when we start looking at keeping everything all in one place, of course, it does increase productivity. It prevents us from having to go to a myriad of places. And of course, if you're moving items into the cloud, of course, staying connected with your team, communicating, sharing, and collaborating becomes the new way of working. Of course, we need to maintain productivity no matter where you work. It's broken down into 2 key fundamental areas: communicate and collaborate. And we can use Microsoft Teams' multiple features for the responsiveness that we need to enable that remote working. We'll be taking a look at an overview of the hub for teamwork, Microsoft Teams, broken into a subsection of areas. This will then enable us to empower teams across the organisation. Microsoft Teams is flexible enough for any team or department to use for project collaboration, team-to-team work, or, of course, internationally, nationally, and locally. I think really importantly is that when we're looking at Microsoft Teams, that hub for teamwork, if we're new to Microsoft Teams, that's fine. We're able to support that growth, the adoption, the change, and the training that will be needed for Microsoft Teams. So you'll never be let alone to look after Teams yourself. I think Microsoft Teams, very importantly, is that hub for teamwork. It's a chat-based workspace that enables teams to be more productive by giving them a single and secure location that brings together everything that team needs. And that could be from chats, meetings, calls, files, and tools. Microsoft Teams is one place for all of the needs your teams have. It delivers on 4 core promises to create a digital workspace for high-performing teams. These are to communicate through chat, meetings, and calls, to collaborate with deeply integrated Office 365 apps, and really importantly, when we're working within our files, we can share and collaborate and work on files right within Teams itself. I think first, importantly to think about is our communication. Microsoft Teams solves the communication need of a diverse workforce. Since its preview, Microsoft Teams has evolved to include a complete meeting experience as well as a chat, voice, and video. You can use Teams for those informal one-to-one or group chats, directly on your phone or on the go. Or you can have an open conversation in a channel. This enables people to share information in a transparent way to accelerate decision making. It's super easy to move from a chat into a face-to-face meeting, helping you to bridge those geographical barriers. When considering collaboration, the deep Office integration enables today's multi-generational workforce to use the Office apps they're familiar with and love. These could be Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, SharePoint, Planner, and even Power BI, right within the context of Teams. Teams is unique in how we enable collaboration. Today, when you want somebody's feedback, you send them a file via email. They store it locally with comments, you store it again. It's a various cycle. That results in a version 2, version 3, and so on. And you have to jump between email and other apps to get the work done. Microsoft Teams brings all of the Office 365 services together so that you can easily share and co-author files without the need for email attachments. We then consider the area of customization and extending with third-party apps, processes, and devices. And many of us use other services than Office 365 as well, which results in you having to jump between and spend time in disparate experiences. Microsoft has built Teams to not only be the hub for the Office 365 services, but for all of the services and tools teams use on a day-to-day basis. You can customize Teams with tabs, connector, and bots to include the apps and services that you need. There are other relevant third-party apps such as GitHub and Trello, MailChimp, and beyond. Microsoft have integrated over 150 partners in their developer community so they can build that extensible platform to enable building of apps to integrate within your standard business processes. And then we think about working with confidence, that enterprise level of security, compliance, and manageability. Microsoft Teams comes with the enterprise-grade security, compliance, and manageability that you expect from Office 365. Customers tell us this is a huge value add for them. When we then begin to start talking about communicating easily to keep your team in the know, we provide a shared workspace within Teams that enables teams to communicate without effort through chats across geographical boundaries. Chats are threaded, persistent and contextual, allowing your team to stay in the know and easily understand the context of the conversation. Today, teams are dynamic. Members, roles, priorities and goals can change, resulting in different communication needs. In Teams, people can choose how to communicate. They can engage in private one-to-one chats, in group chats, or in a team conversation that are visible to the entire team. Conversations are open by default. Working in the open has a transformative effect on the culture of a team and helps organizations move from that personal to team productivity. Microsoft have also recently added guest access, so you can now chat with everyone on your team, whether they're inside your organization or with an outside partner. Teams allows you to have fun together. Successful collaboration is based on a relationship, so people can include emojis, memes, fun graphics in messages, which allow them to show their personality and humanize their messages. Most teams have a fun channel to communicate about other topics than work. For example, when somebody joins the team, has a baby, has a pub quiz, you can get to know the people beyond work interactions, creating a culture of teamwork. Using GIFs and stickers and emojis, you can bring humor into that communication. And to soften messages, changing the communication style can change the style of a team. You can worry less about formalities and focus more on substance. Information often lives across sliced services today, or siloed services, like mail, files, meetings, Power BI data, other SaaS services. And I think really when we're talking about quickly accessing our favorite apps, Teams is that hub both for communication and collaboration that brings all of these services together in one single workspace. Teams have one less place to go, resulting in more time for productivity, because you don't then have to toggle between apps. All of the common tools, those Office apps that people use every day of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, SharePoint, and even Power BI are built right in, giving people access to the files and tools they need right within Microsoft Teams. Users can share, co-author and edit Office and other files right within the app. As all files are stored on SharePoint, the latest version of the file is always accessible to any member of the team. This enables organizations to democratize knowledge and give everybody access to the information they need to get the work done. We commonly think of this as that open door policy. You can take notes with OneNote or access an integrated calendar from Outlook. Microsoft Teams is also integrated with SharePoint, Power BI, and Planner. This enables teams to work in a central place with all necessary tools to pursue team objectives. Integration has built it in with email, so users can forward emails into team channels for further discussion. And Microsoft Teams leverages the intelligence of the Microsoft Graph. A team member can access organization charts, information, and do searches for contacts right within the organization. Every group, of course, is unique, both in structure and in style. Teams has been made in that easy to tailor way for workspaces to the needs of the users. This could be to include apps and services which are relevant to your team or project. You can set up your channels so that conversations on certain topics happen in designated spaces. You can pin important files, quick reference for the whole team to access in just one click. You can add intelligent bots to interact with Microsoft Teams. Bots can answer in natural language questions and perform lightweight tasks such as FAQs. And third-party services are included. Notifications can be customized so the team never miss a beat. And to bring our users a breadth of customization options, we're working with more than 150 partners across that Microsoft spectrum. And it's really important to say that Microsoft have also created that extensible platform to enable building apps with a rich set of capabilities to enable high-performing teams. The Microsoft Teams developer platform, however, enables integrations to your existing business process through publicly available APIs. It can manage trusted apps for the employees and your organization. Microsoft Teams provides industry-leading security and compliance capabilities and a rich management capability. It's really important to work with confidence within Microsoft Teams. With Microsoft Teams, customers do benefit from the Office 365 hyperscale or enterprise-grade cloud. And I think really importantly, from day one, the requirement has been for Teams to provide you with the same Office 365 capabilities that you're used to, and to build security, privacy, and trust directly into the service. You can manage and monitor all features in one centralized portal. Data encryption at all times, at rest and in transit. Customer data at rest remains in region. Ability to have local data residency for core customer data at rest, plus that failover and disaster recovery. And I think really importantly, if you are looking for more information, of course, about the data residency, GDPR or local data protection regulations, then of course 365 is supportive of that, no matter where you are on the globe. Of course, there's also human backup via on-call support. Not least of which can you leverage the support from Office 365, but here at CloudSpark, we also provide Office 365 support from a range of packages. Customer content is never accessible in logs or in telemetry. Multi-factor authentication for enhanced identity protection is also available. You can secure your guest access through your Azure Active Directory managed guest accounts. But of course, a big priority topic for all of our European customers is, of course, GDPR. And this is the Global Data Protection Regulation. Now, of course, Microsoft have adhered to this ahead of May 2018, but of course, equally, Teams supports key standards including SOC 1, 2, the EU model clauses, HIPAA, and more. And since its preview, Microsoft have added mobile management with Microsoft Intune and new features for compliance and litigation support, including audit log search, e-discovery, and legal hold for channels, chats, and files. The Microsoft Teams Admin Center provides you with a single coherent admin experience where you can manage all aspects of your Microsoft Teams, including users, settings, calling, analytics. Teams provides that enterprise manageability to configure and set policies at a per user level and manage trusted apps for your employees in the organization. And really importantly, when we start talking about calling and meeting, the PSTN connectivity in Office 365 gives you the option to connect existing on-premise investments in the future, or you can then roll out the advanced call management control and call routing through auto attendance, calling queues, and reporting right within the Cloud PBX solutions. And therefore, we begin to think about how different departments can use Teams. And really, when we start talking about empowering that remote work across the organization, is that this can be broken down into perhaps a number of different scenarios. Of course, we have the scenarios from marketing through to sales, finance, human resources, information technology, engineering, and project management. So how do different team departments work or utilize Teams? Marketing teams can manage the go-to-market, public relations, event planning, and their budget within Teams. They can add guests, agencies with secure guest access. They can connect relevant third-party services to each channel, such as Bing News Alerts, Twitter connections, Adobe Creative Cloud, Hootsuite, YouTube, and more. Sales teams can manage sales planning from FRP and proposals. Teams provides that single place where all this collaboration, reporting and knowledge sharing can happen. They can set up monthly business reviews as meetings in Teams. Document sharing from sales playbooks can be done from within Teams, and they can also use apps like Power BI, Planner, or even task management apps like Trello. Finance teams, however, can conduct their finance reviews within Teams and also share content around business insights, audits, and compliance. Teams provides a hub in which all files and data, conversations, and meetings can happen in a single place. Safety and securely. They can easily share files like annual financial statement reviews or audit reports and use apps like Excel and Power BI, Planner, or even pin critical files, internal or external websites, to a tab. These are sorts of the seamless places all in one. And when we then start looking at things such as human resources, HR teams can manage their recruitment, training, events, and reviews right within Teams. Teams provides a single hub where HR professionals can collaborate, plan, share notes, and communicate decisions. They can upload files to channels such as HR policies, candidate information, offers that have been extended, training or recruitment guide notes, internal websites, feedback forms and surveys. They can use a shared OneNote or wiki for candidate feedback. There are many things that Teams can be used for, something as simple as training calls in Teams and post-training surveys in third-party apps like SurveyMonkey. Of course, with the IT team, IT can leverage Teams, a hub for service strategy, problem, incident and change, deployment, health and reporting, readiness and adoption, support and management and governance. They can set up connectors for bots for processing automation. And if you don't have that all-important IT team, please take a look at our website, our professional services and support services. Engineering teams can, of course, leverage Teams for go-to-market features, testing feedback, competitive information, research and product analytics. They can set up connectors or tabs for VSTS, Jira, Bitbucket, GitHub, or even leverage developer tools like BotKit. Teams really enables that continuous discussion across a distributed team and is integrated with developer tools. Project teams can also leverage Teams for planning, budgets, analytics, reviews, and feedback. They can use apps like Planner, Power BI, or set up connectors such as bots for process automation. Teams really enables collaboration in one central hub with all the tools needed to manage that project. For further guidance on these scenarios, why not speak to one of our trained specialists? And I think really importantly, when we then start considering the element of staying connected within our teams, we can use engaging digital meetings. We can prepare for meetings, and we can access progress and notes in one place to join meetings with more insights, history, and context. Another element is really running productive meetings and how we can leverage the voice, video, and collaboration features of Teams to stay engaged in all of our meetings. And then really importantly, that new way of working is following up with your team. We stay on top of projects with automatically captured notes, actioned items, and quick access to your team. And I think it's more important to be more prepared than ever. Always be ready to get work done within Microsoft Teams. We can schedule meetings based around attendee availability, search across people, files, and chat threads, review reports and team statuses easily with integrated apps and chat logs. But also, we can create agendas right within the meeting descriptions to set that place and pace for your team. And I think it's really important that when we're engaging in productive meetings, we have that effective real-time communication. Teams makes it easy to communicate in online meetings with voice over IP or dial-in audio conferencing, which means regardless to if you have Teams on your desktop, your mobile phone, or if you're sharing meetings with external partners, clients and customers, then they can also dial in using that dial-in audio conferencing service. Keep your team engaged with HD video. It's all high definition, based of course on your bandwidth. Collaborate in real time with screen sharing and integrated apps. And this is a really useful feature, even considering when you're on the go. You can keep your team in real time with screen sharing, even something as simple as sharing your mobile screen from your mobile device right within a meeting itself. And I think really importantly, when we consider those elements, we can join, of course, on those mobile, desktop, or in a web browsing environment, truly making it effective and efficient when joining meetings. We can also start meetings instantly within a single click. Follow up and never miss a thing. Stay on track quickly and easily. We can access important team documents and chat history instantly, no matter whether or not we're in a meeting, whether we're working on documents, but we can share notes and other collaboration files openly or privately within your team. We can track progress and updates instantaneously with integrated Office 365 apps. We can record meetings with transcription and save to the cloud for viewing at any time. But I really think it's about elevating that productivity within remote working. The global impact of remote working is that currently more and more employees are working from home. Remote collaboration is growing worldwide. And from there, then, it's about empowering customers to overcome. And that's really our job. It's us working with you to discover how our clients have transformed their collaboration, perhaps using Microsoft Teams. But in addition, you can also then start to consider thinking about how you can elevate your productivity within Teams among your own customers as well. And you then consider how you can discover how your customers have transformed their organization using Microsoft Teams as well. So it's that two-pronged attack. Microsoft Teams has grown extensively, and I think really importantly, growing team enablement across the globe. These basic figures really just here show that there are now 44 million daily Teams users, with an increase in video on calls of 1,000%. But there's also 200% increase in weekly meeting minutes, and therefore more and more people now are working with Teams more than ever before. And so it's really thinking about how we can support that growth and in the rollout and implementation of Teams for your organization. So how do Microsoft Teams benefit customers? What we hear from customers is that Microsoft Teams helps them to enable new ways of working. It helps teams to be more collaborative, work in the open with everybody in the know, and it does create that democratization of information and decision making, of course, across the organization. We have a quote, of course, from the Chief Technical Officer of J. Walter Thompson. Jamie McClellan says that Microsoft Teams has given them the ability to mobilize people in ways they have never seen before. I think really importantly, it helps them to accelerate decision making. In Microsoft Teams, information is shared in the moment and with context, enabling people to quickly make an informed decision. Through Microsoft Teams and SharePoint Online to compare results in almost real time and build a faster car, L. Bryce Whitson of the Junior Aerodynamics Engineering of Hendrick Motorsports really states that actually Microsoft Teams is a driver of digital transformation. It's helped their customers to modernize business processes and align with how people work in the modern workplace. And again, another quote, pulling data from Power BI automatically for each group and combine it into one view in Microsoft Teams is a lot more efficient than previous processes. That's Sunil Yadav, president of the Amplify Asia Pacific. And I think it's really important that it really is these three key focuses. It enables new ways of working, it accelerates decision making, and drives that digital transformation. And to help you align to the modern workplace, we are part of SureStep, but also the Cloud Enablement Desk and the Cloud Acceleration Program. And therefore, of course, if you have any questions in any of these three areas, please feel free in our next steps to get in touch. So the first step there is to get started in Microsoft Teams today. Perhaps you might want to pick one project or do all of the collaboration on the project in Teams, and then of course download the mobile app on the go. Of course, if you're not working with Teams at the moment, but looking to work with Teams, and let's say you're new to Office 365, we're also providing 6 months free trials to Microsoft Teams. Get support, get deployment and adoption support from our CloudSpark specialists. Why not visit www.cloudsparkconsulting.co.uk and search for managed services of Microsoft Office 365. We value your feedback. We absolutely value feedback and welcome this. So feel free to drop us an email at hello@cloudsparkconsulting.co.uk. But for now, thank you for joining our CloudSpark Empowering Remote Working with Microsoft Teams. And we look forward to seeing you again soon in our how-to steps.